Hello everybody and welcome back to the two Bartys for Series 2. In this series we are going to give you a little bit of an insight into our automotive brains as we bring you our top fives. So everything from sports cars to hot hatches to rally cars to cars on film to classic cars and of course supercars. So that's all to look forward to in this new series of the two Bartys. And this is where we will bring you our top 5 sports cars. Of course, the two Bartys wouldn't be complete without my able wingman, Mr. James, right here. So James, kick us off with one of your top 5 sports cars.
So probably my number one out of my top 5 sports cars is the Porsche Cayman GTS. I love Porsche. 2, it's probably one of the quickest sports cars, if not the quickest. It's got something.
It's got something about it. And by sports car, we're not talking about the hypercars or the supercars. We are talking about sports cars. So it has got to be up there with one of the finest handling. So Porsche Cayman GTS, is that your number 1 or is it just part of your top 5?
It's number 1.
It's your number 1. Well, in no particular order, and I think we will have a similar one on the list, I've gone for the Mazda MX-5. As a sports car, it's a fine handling, rear-wheel drive, light-bodied, relatively small engine. And the other reason I went for it is because in 2002 I worked for Mazda and had one as a demonstrator for the summer of 2002 and absolutely fell in love with it. Do you have Mazda MX-5 in your list?
I have, and it is at number 3 on my list. I just think it is the most simplistic sports car. So it's like the essence of the sports car. Every sports car has it, but that is it.
You will find a Lotus on my list as well with the Lotus Elise. I'm talking Series 1, actually Series 1 or Series 2, anything from about 98, 99 from the original through to the facelifted model in the early noughties. I have always been a fan of this vehicle. Although not lucky enough to drive an Elise, I have been lucky to drive a Lotus, which is on your list.
Yep, the Lotus Exige. It's got everything about an Elise, but just a bit more oomph, a bit more something.
A bit more track orientated, a bit more focused.
Yeah, and that is why the Lotus Exige is at number 2 on my list.
I'm going to go for something, it's Germanic. It's been around for a good 20 years at least. The Audi TT, from the original concept all the way through to the latest incarnation, for me as a sports car, just sums it up in a very similar way to how the MX-5 sums up the segment. There's something right about the Audi TT. So give us another one, James.
Right, the Alpine.
Oh, the Alpine.
Alpine. It's like Scott and Scone. I just think for a sports car, something like the Audi TT, it feels right. It's light, but not overly powered. It's just, something just feels right. And so it's number 4 on my top 5.
And we're looking at the latest Alpine as opposed to the original. And of course the latest one does pay homage. A very impressive car it is as well. And speaking of an impressive car, this is a bit of a throwback to the 90s. The Mazda RX-7. What is it about the Mazda RX-7? Well, it was that twin rotary engine, of course. Thirsty for the oil. And I'm not even worried about the performance. It could have a maximum speed of 30 miles an hour. The styling that that vehicle had, particularly from the back, just absolutely did it for me. So we have my top 4 so far. James, Far away with your last one.
Right, my last one. Yes, this car is a BMW underneath the skin, but I think I prefer the BMW to the BMW. Because, well, one is a convertible, another one is a sports car that slides around a racetrack. It just is the Toyota Supra, the newest Toyota Supra. Like I keep saying, it is a BMW underneath the skin, but I prefer the look of the Toyota to the BMW, and I think the Toyota would feel better because it's got something about it that all sports cars should have, in the way that it's right for that kind of class. It's right for that sports car. It's a proper rear-wheel drive sports car.
And of course, what James means is it is the BMW. It's a joint venture with BMW. So BMW have launched the new Z4, which is the convertible. James prefers the coupe, which is the Toyota at the moment. Going on to my final one, and my final one is also a recent launch, and you can watch it in Series 1, Episode 4. My final sports car, it is the Alfa Giulia GTA M. So it's the more hardcore, 2 seats in the front, no seats in the rear. For me, that is just engineering excellence right there. So James, give us your vehicles that are in your top 5 then as a quick recap.
Number 5 is the Toyota Supra. Number 4 is the Alpine. Number 3 is the Mazda MX-5. Number 2 is the Lotus Exige. At number 1 is the Porsche Cayman GTS.
Good choices, good choices. So for me, in number 5 would be the Audi TT, followed by the Mazda RX-7. The Alfa Giulia GTA M jumps in there at number 3. And at number 2 is the Lotus Elise, and my top sports car will be the Mazda MX-5. So that brings us to the end of this first episode of Series 2. We hope you enjoy it. Give us your list of top 5 sports cars in the comments, and please do like and subscribe to our channel. We'll be bringing you more really soon. So